Yes! I don't try to start a pink sensation. You might not generation. you do today? I was home and then I wasn't.
So much. This has been a lot of fun. We got one more song for you guys.
All right, so this song is called Come For Me. But, you know, it's about when someone's trying to come at you and what you need to fight for. But I thought tonight we could change the lyrics to Vote Bernie. I know that that's very cheesy, but you have to indulge me. This is our time on the stage, so I'm going to say it anyway. So you guys, it's going to be very obvious. When I say vote Bernie, you guys can say it with me. We can all say that. And let's just go crazy. This is one of the best moments of our lives. We're all here together. We're a Sunflower Bee from New York City. It's a New York City bill. We have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We have Cynthia Nixon. We have Dr. West. We have Bernie Sanders in the house. All right, here we go. Thank you guys. It's a Rage Against the Machine concert in 1993. All right, everyone here, you can feel it. We're gonna jump. You know how it's gonna happen. You're getting ready. Everyone in the seats, you can rattle your jewelry. Just kidding. All right, Get ready. Here we go. You're gonna know. Do you really want to vote Bernie? Do ya? Do ya? New Hampshire, let's go! Do you really want to vote Bernie? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Let's go, LA! New Hampshire! Do you really want to vote Bernie? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do you really want to vote Bernie? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? If you do that, do it. Give it up! Let's go! Let's go! Do you really want to vote Bernie? Make some noise! Scream in the air! Bernie beats Trump 2020! Let's go! Do you really want? Do you really want?
Oh my God.
There's a great night ahead. Thank you so much, Bernie Sanders, for
Thank you very
having
much,
us.
Durham.
The Strokes are playing. AOC. Everyone, thank you, New Hampshire. We'll see you next time.
Got a little soul, the world place to be. Want a little warmth, but who's gonna save a little warmth for me? We know the fire rates, some believers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. If you're born again, I know that the world will disagree. Want a little grace, but who's gonna say a little grace for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you now die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited. Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. What all the water contains, a little drop for me. See the sun go down, it's going on down, and the night is deep. Want a little light, but who's gonna save a little light for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what all the water contains, a little drop for me. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world's planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what all the water contains, a little drop for me. stunning. I like shining. I like $1,000,000 deals. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong. I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Bird, go, Ferrari, hop off the stoop, jump in the coupe. Big dip on top of the roof, flexing on as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio. I'm the district in the jam. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? I need the dollars to drink, beat it up like piñatas. Tell the jobs to close the curtains. Bad chick make 'em nervous.
Chambean, chambean, pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jordan, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el latino gang, gang, yeah. Está toda servieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. A ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza, yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve el culo la dominicana. Lo rico que me chinga la venezolana. Andamos activos, perico, pim, pim. Billetes de 100 en el maletín. Que retumbe el bajo y Valentín, yeah. Aquí prohibido mal, dile charitín. Que per pico le tengo claritín. Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
I'm the district in the jam. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? I need the dollars to drink, beat it up like piñatas. Tell the jobs to close the curtains. Bad chick make 'em nervous.
Como Celia Cruz tengo el azúcar. Tú que va medio y se fue de pecho como Ginny Luca. Te vamos a tumbar la peluca y arranca pa'l carajo. Que a ti no te va a pasar la boca. Mi tele y Valenciaga me reciben en la entrada. Para, sí, like I'm Lady Gaga. Y no te me hagas, que en cover de vivo tú has visto mi cara. No salgo de tu mente, donde quiera que viajes, he escuchado mi gente. Ya no
Hey, 1, 2, 3, mic check, 1, 2.
rosa, no soy el que se la vive y también el que la goza. Cosa, es la cosa, mami es la cosa. El que mira sufre y el que toca goza. I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that. I'm the district in the jam. Certified, you know I'm gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his
party for the holidays. Diplomatic with them diploma and them won't be great. Because them not pick up no matic and not perpetrate. And then I love the energies where them a generate. My generation it's so special it will make a change. Because the yellow sow the seed and it a germinate. So anytime them see the progress them a celebrate. Because we're rising up despite of the economy. And then now we are starting show like the astronomy. And now we keep on breaking through is an anomaly. Because we keep remaining true without apology. The mission of we carry through and finish properly. Say Gambia to Guadeloupe or is to Napoli. Say Zambia to Honolulu back to Tripoli. And everybody want a future living happily.
My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. This generation will make a change. This generation, yeah. My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. We'll make a change. I swear we will. I swear it's time, yeah. Hey.
Can you blame my generation subject to gentrification, depicting their frustrations over ill instrumentation? Cause music is the way to convey to you what I'm facing, placing my life in front of your eye for your observation. Now if you can't relate, then maybe you are too complacent. Athletes today are scared to make Muhammad Ali statements. What's up with tomorrow? Will you lead? Will you follow? Improve your values. Education is real power. I reach them like Bono. So get rid of your self-sorrow. Add some bravado. Get wealthy like Wells Fargo. It's true that I am you and I am proof. Surviving through, we do what we gotta do. Yo, we can break the cycle, let nobody lie to you. Then maybe put our sons and our daughters in private school. Cause there's a mission we gotta finish before we leave. This generation is destined to do historic deeds.
My generation will make a change. This generation will make a change. My generation, this generation, yeah. My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. We'll make a change, yeah.
Every campaign relies heavily on its ability to organize. Luckily, Bernie has the best of the best. Please give a warm welcome to our first speaker of the evening, UNH campus organizer, Sinead O'Hara.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking you all for coming out for this incredible event. My name is Sinead O'Hara, and I'm the campus organizer for Bernie Sanders here at UNH. Feeling the excitement of the students I've met here reminds me of when I first learned about Bernie Sanders in 2015. I was instantly hooked. As an 18-year-old college student at UMass Amherst, hearing him speak at a rally was life-changing. His authenticity, his honesty, and his innate sense of empathy filled me with emotions I never imagined I could feel of a politician. As young people, we're often asked why we've become so passionate about a candidate we can't necessarily relate with. In my eyes, the reasons are pretty clear. We fight for Bernie because we believe that healthcare is a human right. We fight for Bernie because we know that a Green New Deal is necessary for a future on this planet. And we fight for Bernie because he has spent his entire career fighting for all of us. Our campaign is strong because we have built a coalition from the ground up. We're building a mass movement across this country, and we're doing it together. Not me, us is our motto, and every single person in this room is a part of that us. Right now, it is about 7:30 p.m. At this time tomorrow, the polls will be closing, and it'll be out of our hands. Let's make tomorrow a day that we can look back on with pride. If you are a student at UNH, your polling location is Oyster River High School. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be shuttles leaving from the Mub Circle all day. If you need to register, bring with you your student ID, another form of ID, and a piece of mail or a letter from your RA. Show up tomorrow and make your voice heard. I am beyond thankful for my time I've had on on this campus, for every single person I've met along the way, and I can't wait for all of our hard work to pay off when Bernie Sanders is elected the next president of the United States. Thank you all so much for having me, and I'd like to introduce a key member of our team, Andrew Valinsky.
How great is Sinead? This is so amazing. I'm Andrew Valinsky. I'm running for governor here, and I'm endorsed by Bernie Sanders. And as proud as I am of being endorsed by Senator Sanders, I'm even more proud to stand here and tell you the next president of the United States should be Senator Bernard Sanders. I am running for governor because you have the highest student debt in the nation, and we need to do something about it. Who here thinks Senator Sanders will do something about outrageous levels of student debt? Our K-12 schools should be safe and our teachers well paid. Who here thinks Senator Sanders will do something about education in America? This isn't about me. It's not about Senator Sanders. It's about tomorrow when you vote, bring someone with you. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does. Thank you.
So glad to be here with you this evening. Now, New Hampshire, we're going to do this. Is that right? We're going to do this. Is that right? Now, what we understand is that all that we love is on the line. Nothing too big. That's all. Just all that we love. And we are going to show this nation, and dare I say the world, that in the words of Dr. Cornel West, we will put the long-distance runner for justice in the White House. Hello, somebody. So, I just stopped by to tell you that the workaday people of this nation deserve better than what we have been getting. Hello, somebody. And it truly boggles my mind that we have people on TV questioning and taking up for the billionaire class and not really giving a care about the working class people of this nation. So if I may, talk a little bit about FDR, who in the 1930s faced similar backlash by the establishment of his day, and he said, I welcome their hatred. That is the same thing that we're doing in the 21st century. We welcome their hatred. Hello, somebody. If I might and if I may, in 1944, FDR proposed the Economic Bill of Rights. Right to a job, right to a living wage, right to affordable housing, right to quality education, right to a secure retirement, right to decent housing. Hello, who does that sound like? In 1963, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the same thing, standing up for the workaday people of this nation. He challenged this nation and said that militarism, materialism, poverty, and racism is wrong, and we must unite against it. Hello, somebody. Same thing. And it was the elites of his day as well. We like to wax poetic about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all of his contemporaries, but how many folks are going to do more than quote him? How many people can we depend on to walk in his footsteps? Hello, somebody. So when Senator Bernie Sanders challenged, and ain't this something, we got people talking about practicality. What's practical? Well, if you're wealthy enough, you can sit back and wax poetic about practical, but if you are poor, baby, practical ain't working for you. It ain't working. And then you got somebody else that's talking about, the senators dividing folks. Let me tell you something. The division has already been set, and it is a corrupt system in this country that hurts the working people. So we need a champion. So we need these elected officials to decide, and especially the folks that's running for president, the question becomes, whose side are you on? Are you on the side of the workaday people of this nation? Either you are on their side or you are not. Either you're going to take a position and know that Medicare for all is a human right in this country, or you do not. Either you believe that women deserve their whole damn dollar, or you do not. Either you are willing to stare down a legal system that sees black men, hello somebody, and black women as somehow more criminal than anybody else, and other people of color, and then poor people. We need a champion who says that they are going to go to war with white supremacy. Hello, somebody. Now, New Hampshire, we tired. We tired of the BS, and I ain't talking about Bernie Sanders. Hello, somebody. We need a champion. Somebody who raises their money with the people. Somebody who doesn't kowtow and defend the billionaire class. Somebody who understands that as well as we bail out Wall Street, it's time to put a down payment on Main Street. Hello, somebody. And then, the type of person that we need to run against Mr. Trump is not half-measure, middle-of-the-way people, but we need somebody that's going to go ham on this system. Hello, somebody. We going. And Senator Bernie Sanders is that champion. Hello, somebody. We're not going to play games with it. So if it's impractical, when people are dying because they can't afford their prescription drugs, is it practical to continue to give the worst president in modern history more money in a military budget? Is it practical to sit back and understand that every night 500,000 of our sisters and brothers sleep on the streets? Is it practical to continue to make excuses? New Hampshire, we are the wealthiest country on the face of the earth, and we can afford to have Medicare for all, college for all, cancel student debt. Hello, somebody. So the people who got the luxury, and I want you to understand this, New Hampshire, don't get discouraged. We're going to keep our eyes on the prize. And so we need the folks that are here tonight. It is good for the family to come together, but in the words of my grandmother, I can show you better than I can tell you. And New Hampshire, we're going to show them some stuff. If you were out in in an ocean drowning. Who do you want to come save you? Somebody who's practical or somebody who's radical? Hello, somebody. So they can talk all of that stuff all they want to because they have the luxury. But we, the everyday people of this nation, need somebody that has courage and conviction and will stand up to a system that is rotten to the core. We need somebody who can go head to head with President Donald Trump, and that person is Senator Bernie Sanders. We're not going to play games with this. You deserve better. And I want for you, New Hampshire, what I want for my own family, I want for your family. I want for your community what I want for my community. I want for your state what I want for the great state of Ohio. And we as a nation should want for our sisters and brothers in other lands what we want for ourselves. And what we want is to live a good life. Hello, somebody. They didn't ask us whether or not it was practical when they was bailing out Wall Street, but every time we talk about putting a little down payment on Main Street, people got a problem. They want to ask how much it costs. Well, how much does it cost to continue to blow the military budget? How much does it cost to give a $1.6 trillion tax cut to the wealthiest people of this country? How much did it cost? We're not playing games. So we need you, New Hampshire, to come through. And I believe with all of my heart that you are going to come through. There's a scripture that says that you will know the tree by the fruit that it bears. And Senator Bernie Sanders has been bearing good fruit all of his life. That does not make that has been on the front line, starting at the University of Chicago. Hello, somebody. As a mayor of Burlington, hello, somebody. As a congressman, hello, somebody. As a U.S. senator, hello, somebody. And as the next president of the United States of America, hello. Hello. New Hampshire, we're going to do this. Sister Helen Keller said these words, and I want to leave you with these words and then my famous with these hands. Y'all know we got to do it. But she said this, and I want you to marinate with this. I want you to hear what Sister Turner is saying to you tonight. She said, alone, we can do very little. Together, we can do so much. This is a multi-generational, multi-gendered, multi-ethnic, multi-racial movement of conscious-minded people. That's who we are. That's what we are. And we are not going to let anybody divide us. We're coming together to transform this nation. Hello, somebody. So can you do something for me? Would you please raise one hand for yourself? The great Dr. Maya Angelou once said, have the courage to stand up for yourself and then the courage to stand up for somebody else. Raise another hand for somebody else. And with these hands, we will have Medicare for all. With these hands, we will have college for all. With these hands, we will cancel medical debt. With these hands, we will cancel student debt. With these hands, with these hands, with these hands. Hello, somebody. With these hands, with these hands. Hello, somebody. With these hands, with these hands, we will elect Senator Bernie Sanders, the 46th president of the United States of America. Hello, somebody. With these hands, baby. With these hands. Hello, somebody. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, baby. We're going to do this.
Can we hear it one more time for Sister Turner? Next to the stage, please give a warm UNH welcome to the chair of the New Hampshire House Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee and proud Bernie 2020 New Hampshire State Co-Chair, Representative Rennie Cushing.
Go Bernie! It's always fun following Senator Turner. She kind of warms the crowd up for you. Anyhow, I'm Rennie Cushing. I'm from Hampton, which is yes, let's hear it for Hampton. You got to go someplace at the beach, and where else would you want to go but there? I am so excited about what's happening right now. This is my 14th New Hampshire presidential primary. I know you think I'm a living fossil, but the reality is there has never been an election that is more important for the future of our country than the one that is taking place right now. There is no day that is more important than tomorrow for each and every person in this room to get out and vote for Bernie Sanders. As the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee, I want to tell you two stories. One, after 21 years, last spring, the state of New Hampshire decided that it could live without the death penalty. And it was 4 years ago that Senator Sanders went to the Democratic Party Platform Committee and made the case that the death penalty is not a criminal sanction, it's a human rights violation. And Senator Sanders changed the policy of the Democratic Party to come in opposition to the state having people strapped down on a gurney, have poison pumped in their veins, and put them to death. Thank you, Senator Sanders. As chair of the Criminal Justice Committee, I know that the war on drugs is a failure. That what it has done, we have put people in jail, we have ruined lives, and it's time to put an end to the prohibition of marijuana in this country. Senator Sanders, day one will take cannabis off Schedule 1 and make marijuana legal and help repair the damage done by the war on drugs. And I want to close with one story. Senator Sanders, he's the voice for all of us, but he walks the talk all the time. No one's walked more picket lines than Bernie Sanders. And a couple months ago, a group of workers at a nursing home were trying to unionize, and they had a rally the night before the election, and Senator Sanders, as he was, showed up and talked to the people there, and there was something about people who were amazed that here a guy running for president of the United States, a U.S. senator, would come to like a small town in Rockingham County and stand with nursing home workers as they sought better wages, working conditions, and dignity. And there was one guy there who had just got off his shift, and he was excited. He was so proud to be there. And I asked him what he did, how his day was. And he'd spent his whole day, 8 hours, as part of our healthcare system. His job in the healthcare system was to empty bedpans. And we're having a great debate in this country. We know Bernie has said that healthcare is a human right, and we will get that. But Bernie will never forget that you talk about healthcare, it's not just about people to whom the healthcare is delivered. It's about the people who empty the bedpans. Vote for Bernie!
She is a former state representative and candidate for New Hampshire Executive Council District 3. Please welcome Bernie 2020 New Hampshire Co-Chair Extraordinaire, Mindy Mesmer.
Hello! Hi, UNH, my alma mater. I'm an environmental scientist. I stood up to the system here in New Hampshire, and like Bernie Sanders, when you do that, you get criticized. But we need someone who can stand up to the fossil fuel industry, the health insurance industry, and fight for us. that's just because they can't fight for us, and they won't do it. Bernie talked about climate change in 2016, and people thought he was crazy, remember? Now, climate change is a top threat to our national security, says the Pentagon. We must have a president that will take this as the emergency that it is and fight the fossil fuel industry, ban fracking, and make sure that we address this with the Green New Deal. We cannot have any more tension between the environmentalists and the labor community. The Green New Deal brings our workers along with us to create a new green economy. We need Bernie Sanders to fight for our futures, for our kids, for our humanity, for the entire planet. We need him to be president on day one to take this climate emergency as the emergency it is. I want you to make a plan right now for your day tomorrow. I want you to decide what time you're going to get up, what time you're going to go vote, what friends you're going to bring with you, and then I want you to spend the whole day taking your friends and family to the polls, because we can do this. We missed our chance in 2016. This is our last chance for Bernie Sanders for president. Help us out. Bring all your friends to vote for Bernie tomorrow. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.
She's an actor, an activist, and former candidate for New York State Governor. It's the campaign's absolute pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker this evening, Cynthia Nixon.
Hello, New Hampshire. I'm Cynthia Nixon. And I'm so excited, and I'm so proud to be here to say that I am all in for Bernie Sanders. Four years ago, I supported Hillary Clinton for president. Oh no, we're not going to do that here. I supported her because I wanted a woman president. I thought she was incredibly qualified. And I thought she was unbeatable. But it's 4 years later. And let me tell you, 4 years ago, I listened to Bernie. And I loved what he was saying. And my kids say, hey, Mom, what about Bernie? What about Bernie? And I said, I love it, but I don't think it can happen. I think he's a resistance candidate, and I love him for what he's doing. Well, let me tell you, 4 years have passed, and the world looks entirely different. And it doesn't just look different because we've lived through 3 years of Donald Trump. I will tell you the main reason that it looks different. It looks different because Bernie Sanders has irrevocably changed the terrain and the conversation of this country. And we can never go back. And we don't want to go back. And I look at those other folks who are trying to be our Democratic nominee, and they place themselves all different places along the spectrum. But I'll tell you, the reason they're even talking about Medicare for all The reason they're even talking about free college for all, the reason they're even talking about a $15 minimum wage nationally, the reason they're even talking about a Green New Deal is because Bernie has made it impossible for them not to. And what Bernie has shown me and has shown us in the last 4 years is that for too long, for as long as I can remember, we have been making do with crumbs. And we've been told that the crumbs that we're getting, unless we're millionaires or billionaires or the head of corporations, we're told that those crumbs are a meal. Bernie has taught us to say, I'm done with these crumbs. I want the whole pie. And I tell you, I was in Nevada a couple of days ago. The Bernie fever is at a pitch. Here in New Hampshire, tomorrow we are going to show this country and the world what New Hampshire can do and what the United States of America can do. We're going to tell them that the last 3 years, that's not who we are. And in my travels around, sometimes I ask people I don't really know. I say, who are you supporting in the presidential? Sometimes they say that with that kind of fervor. And sometimes they say somebody else. And I say, why? Tell me. And they tell me. And I listen. And then I say to them really quietly, but what about Bernie? And 9 times out of 10, here's what they say to me. They say, oh, Bernie, that would be great. And I say to them, then when I ask you, who are you supporting? Why don't you just say Bernie? And they say, well, I think he's great. They sound like me 4 years ago. I think he's great, but I worry about my coworkers. I worry about my in-laws. I worry about fill in the blank. I worry that they're not going to go for him. And I try my best to say to those people without shouting them down, I try to say, listen, don't worry about them. What do you want? Whose America do you want to live in? And once you come out of the closet as a Bernie supporter, once you embrace how you really feel, that coworker and that in-law and that whoever, they're going to look at you and say, yeah, you know what? Me too. And the last thing I want to say is this nonsense that the media keeps telling us about we have to pick somebody in the middle, somebody who everybody will go for. You pick somebody everybody will go for, and I'll tell you who shows up on election day, pretty much nobody. That's the thing about Bernie. We love him, and And we want to fight for him, and we want to fight until he's president. And we want to show up, and we want to go that extra mile. You know, did you ever do this? Did you ever think like, I'd like to fall in love. I'd like to meet the one. And you make a list of like what that person might be like. Maybe how tall they are, maybe what ethnicity they are or what religion, how old they are, what kind of job they have, what gender they are. And you know, it kind of sounds good on paper, and if you could take that paper and make that person materialize, you'd never go for them. When you meet that person that you fall for, that's the thing about them. They're completely unexpected. Because when you meet that person, they defy your expectations, but your heart opens and your mind opens, and you see the path, your life with them ahead of you. That's what happened for me when I met my wife. And that is what is... what is happening to America right now with Bernie Sanders. Because people don't turn out in droves for somebody who checks a lot of boxes. People show up in droves for someone they are passionate about. And that's why we are going to win not only the nomination, that's why we're going to win in November. Because all the horror and the white supremacy and the xenophobia and the homophobia and you name it, all the horror that is Donald Trump. He is a formidable foe. We must not underestimate him. And we don't need just another politician. We need a hero, and that is Bernie Sanders. Do him proud. Thank
you. UNH Durham, do you guys have Bernie fever? I can't hear you. Well, you're in luck because, boy, do we have a doctor in the house tonight. Please give some Bernie 2020 love to National Campaign Surrogate, Dr. Cornel West.
Brother Bernie! Brother Bernie! Brother Bernie! Let the word go forth here and now. We're on our way to the White House. We are going to remove our fellow citizen, our neo-fascist gangster from the White House, now in Manchester. He's got to go. You got to go. You got to go. But let us be clear, you don't say that in the spirit of hatred of a person. We hate injustice. We hate exploitation. We hate oppression. We hate domination. We hate contempt. We hate arrogance. We hate condescension. A neo-fascist believes that the rule of big military and big money dividing people up by their color, by their class, by their sexual orientation, by their religion or non-religion to ensure we at each other's throats rather than confronting the elites at the top. My brother Bernie Sanders says no. And I come from a people, a black people, who have been hated chronically for 400 years and taught the world so much about love. Oh, yeah. That's my tradition. That's John Coltrane's Love Supreme. That's Stevie Wonder's Love and Anita Love. That's Nina Simone, Mississippi, goddamn. And justice is what love looks like in public, just like tenderness is what love feels like in private. And we gonna stay in solidarity together. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your national identity is. I don't care what region you are. You a human being. We got a deep Jewish brother named Bernie Sanders who's bringing us together. And it's a human thing. Do you feel it, New Hampshire? Do you feel it in your guts? Do you feel it in your soul? Do you want a better America? So we're going to keep alive the rich legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker and Dorothy Day, our Vanilla sister on the Catholic side of town. And Cesar Chavez. Let us never forget our indigenous peoples. And Grace Boggs and Harvey Milk. That's the best of America. That's the best of America. And let us be very clear. We're living at a moment where the very future of a democracy is at stake. So this is no ordinary campaign. This is a movement that has a spiritual, and for me as a Christian brother, a spiritual and moral coming together. Strong coming together. It's part of the genius of Hebrew scripture. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Buddhist, Hindu. It says the spreading of Hesed, the spreading of that steadfast love to the orphan, the widow, the fatherless, the motherless, the oppressed, the occupied, the dominated. It's rooted in the best of America, but it looks to the world and it says a precious baby in Ethiopia, in Guatemala. It could be in Tel Aviv or Gaza. It could be in Argentina. It could be in New Hampshire. They all have the same value. They all have the same significance. Yes, that's a moral and a spiritual dimension. And I thank God my dear brother Bernie Sanders has got the integrity, the courage, the vision to bring us together and say, not a milquetoast neoliberal running against the gangster. We got to have moral and spiritual power behind our movement. Are we going to stay together? Are we going to fight together? Are we going to go all the way together behind Bernie Sanders? Let's do it, New Hampshire. Stay strong. Stay strong.
UNH Durham, she needs no introduction. She is the one, she is the only Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Hello, New Hampshire! God is good! What's good, New Hampshire? Oh my God, are you all ready for a political revolution in New Hampshire tomorrow? That's what I'm talking about. I am so excited to see all of us out here today. Let's hear it for every single person who came up on this stage just now. Senator Nina Turner, Dr. Cornel West, Cynthia Nixon, Sunflower Bean for sharing their skills and their talents. Funny story about Sunflower Bean, actually. Their lead singer, Julia Cummings, she's from New York City, as I am. And way back before I won my primary, like months before, there was a public forum that was coming on, and Julia Cummings, lead singer of Sunflower Bean, invited me to come speak, and it was like my first ever real public appearance. And so tonight's a real full circle moment, and she gave me space then, and I'm so excited that she's on, and Sunflower Bean's on this stage tonight. So let's give them a round of applause. And let's talk about this moment. I want us to talk about this moment here tonight on the eve of the New Hampshire primary. Because this is a very important moment that we have tonight in our democracy. Because we have a choice to make. And it is important for us to realize that choice tomorrow. And to do everything that we can to expand the electorate and transform our democracy to center everyday people, fight for healthcare as a right, fight for a living wage, fight to end mass incarceration, fight to break up ICE and CBP. It's gonna take you to do it. It's gonna take mass movement politics to do it. That's the theory of change. That's what political revolution is all about. I want to talk a little bit about why Bernie. Because Bernie has not committed to what is right when it was popular. Senator Bernie Sanders has spent his entire life fighting for the right thing when it was unpopular. And I'll tell you now that I'm in Washington, D.C., and we've been there for a year, I can tell you that's not easy to do. It is the hardest thing to stand up to the establishment of big pharma, to big oil and gas, to stand up to bigotry. Because as we know, what we've seen is that you can galvanize people pretty easily around hate. It is hard to stand up and fight for someone you don't know when it's not the popular thing to do, and he has done it his whole damn life. His whole life. And that's not just a testament to who Senator Sanders is. It's not just a testament to who he is. It's a testament to the strength that is needed and necessary in the White House to get an agenda done for working people. About 3 or 4 years ago now, I was an activist and I had found myself at Standing Rock, fighting against, standing in support of our Native brothers and sisters, honoring and centering Indigenous wisdom in our energy policy and environmental policy. And I remember how hard it was for people to speak out in that time, because we had a Democratic administration, and you're not supposed to talk
about what's wrong when the political establishment has congealed sometimes in that way. You're not supposed to talk about that. In that time, thousands of Americans went out to Standing Rock, to Ocheti, to center and say, listen to our Native brothers and sisters. Listen to them. We listen to them. That when that fracking pipeline was going through an affluent white community, they stood up and said, not in our backyard. So what happened? That pipeline went to a native, through a native community. And so they started to galvanize, and they let out that call. And thousands of everyday Americans heeded that call to center our community. You know who showed up? Senator Sanders showed up. You know who else showed up? Almost no one. When we look at what happened in that debate stage, who brings up Palestine? Senator Bernie Sanders. When we talk, let's go back further. Let's go back further, because now people think that progressive ideals are in vogue. Who put them in vogue? Which campaign made a living wage and centered that? Which candidate in this race never took corporate PAC money ever in their life? In their life? Senator Bernie Sanders. Who was one of the first major presidential candidates to ever campaign on Medicare for all, healthcare as a right in the United States? Senator Bernie Sanders. Let's go back further. Who stood up for women and gender nonconforming people's right to choose in the 90s when it was unpopular? Senator Bernie Sanders. Who was standing up and saying that we should center and that we should lift up our queer brothers and sisters when people were passing the DOMA, Defense of Marriage Act? Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Bernie Sanders. Fast forward this campaign, who is the only candidate to call to break up ICE and CBP? Senator Bernie Sanders. That matters. All of this matters. And when it comes to politics, you get what you pay for. And when you have candidates bankrolled by billionaires, who are they going to work for? Who do you think they're going to work for? When you have candidates that only take contributions from and by the people, who have only ever taken contributions by the people, who do they work for? Who does that person work for? The people. This matters. This primary, these elections, they matter. Because in November, when we kick out Donald Trump from the White House, we're either going to go back to how things were, or we're going to move forward to establish a 21st century advanced society that guarantees economic, social, and human rights for all people. And let's talk about November. Let's talk about November, because we know in every poll, Bernie beats Trump. And let me tell you something, Trump knows that. Why else do you think he has come here tonight? For anybody else? No, because they see you, all of of you right here in this arena, coming together in the name of love and fighting for someone you don't know and centering your neighbor and fighting for the least of us in rejection of racism, homophobia, xenophobia. To say we're going to center healthcare for all people in the United States of America. We're going to fight for economic dignity, 21st century economic rights. We are at a crossroads in our democracy. We're at a key crossroads. And we cannot underestimate the power of hate. We cannot underestimate the power of that divisiveness and the centering and the vitriol and all of that. We cannot underestimate that. And that is why we need to nominate someone with a political revolution at their back, with decades of organizing bringing us to this moment. It is not going to be any one candidate that defeats Donald Trump. It's going to be a movement of Americans that defeat Donald Trump in rejection of hatred and embracing of love. There's a lot of centering here, and there's a lot of accommodating. People worry about voters that perhaps have never experienced or been touched by someone with an immigration crisis, whose family has not been separated, whose family perhaps has never been unjustly incarcerated, people who have never struggled to afford their health care in the United States, people that have never struggled people have never struggled to make ends meet. There's a lot of worrying about how we win over those people. My plea to you, first of all, I don't know too many people that have never been touched by one of these issues. But if you are blessed enough, my ask is to fight for someone you don't know, fight for someone who has struggled for health care, vote for someone who is an immigrant, vote for someone who has been unjustly incarcerated, vote for the least amongst us. There are two paths we can take. One is a nomination that brings us back to business as usual, but business as usual was not working for working people. It was not. Or we can choose to move forward. And as someone who has been told to go back, I'm gonna tell you, we're moving forward. To a multiracial democracy, forward to guaranteed health care, forward to a living wage, forward to fighting for our neighbors, forward for indigenous rights and honoring sovereignty, forward, forward, forward. That's where we're gonna go. We're not going back to the days where people had to hide. We're not going back to the days where people have to worry. We're not going back. We are going forward, and with that, I am so excited to bring you the candidate that will get us there. Senator Bernard Sanders. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people.
Thank you. Thank you, Durham. Now, in case you haven't noticed, there are a lot of people here tonight. In fact, there are 3 times more people here tonight than in any other Democratic rally in New Hampshire caucus. Let me take this opportunity to introduce to you the next First Lady of the United States of America, my wife, Jane. Let me introduce my daughter, Karina, coming all the way across the Connecticut River from Burlington. And this is my grandson, Cole. My grandson, Dylan. My son, Dave. His wife, Liza. His daughter, Ella. And my granddaughter, Tessie. Those are some of the family. We got the more who are not here. And let me take the opportunity to thank all those who have spoken. Andrew Volinsky, your next governor. Senator Nina Turner. Representative Rennie Cushing. Mindy Mesner. Cynthia Nixon, Dr. Cornel West, and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Brothers and sisters, this turnout tells me why we're going to win here in New Hampshire, why we're going to win the Democratic nomination, and why we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of America, Donald Trump. And we are going to win this election because we have an unprecedented, multi-generational, multi-racial grassroots movement of millions of people. The reason that we won the popular vote in Iowa by 6,000 votes is because we had thousands of volunteers knocking on doors. And the reason we're going to win here in New Hampshire is because we have thousands of volunteers knocking on doors, making phone calls. And the reason that we are going to win is the American people, no matter what their political views may be, are sick and tired of a president who is a pathological liar, who is running a corrupt administration, who is a bully and a vindictive person, who is a racist, a sexist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, and a religious bigot. And those are his nice qualities. But whatever one's political view may be, the American people understand that that is not the kind of human being who should be in the White House and we intend to make him a one-term president. Donald Trump hopes to win re-election by dividing our people up based on the color of their skin, where they were born, their sexual orientation, their gender, or their religion. It won't work because we are going to do exactly the opposite. We're going to bring our people together. Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, we're coming together. We're coming together in the strongest grassroots movement in the history of American politics. And we are coming together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Now, Trump is not only a liar, but he's a fraud. He promised the working people of this country during his campaign that he would guarantee health care to all people, and then he tried to throw 32 million off the health care they have. He promised, and you know his word is like gold, he promised he would not cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, but in his budgets, he made massive cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. He promised the American people that his tax plan would not benefit his billionaire friends. I know I will shock you when I tell you that he lied about that too. 83% of the benefits of his tax plan go to the top 1%. Donald Trump tells us every day how much we're supposed to hate and fear the undocumented. But as a businessman, he hired hundreds of undocumented workers to work in his resorts so that he could exploit them. Donald Trump, the fraud, told us that we should worry about the outsourcing of good-paying American jobs, but as a businessman, he manufactured his products in Mexico, in China, in Turkey, and in other low-wage countries. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because our agenda speaks to the pain of the working families of this country. The working people of this country know there is something profoundly wrong when in America today we have more income and wealth inequality than at any time over the last 100 years. Working families know there is something immoral and obscene about 3 people in America owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society. That there is something profoundly wrong when 500,000 people are sleeping out on the streets tonight, that the top 1% own more wealth than the bottom 92%. The American people understand there is something profoundly wrong and unjust when half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, yet 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. The American people know there is something profoundly wrong when the average worker in America has an effective tax rate that is higher than billionaires and large multinational corporations like Amazon last year did not pay a nickel in federal income taxes. So what this campaign is about is saying to the greed and corruption of corporate America, guess what? You're going to start paying your fair share of taxes. And what this campaign is about is ending a corrupt political system in which billionaires buy elections. Here in New England, we believe in democracy, one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And together we're going to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision. And we're going to move to public funding of elections. No more billionaires buying elections. In the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we're going to end the absurdity of millions of our people working at starvation wages. You can't make it on 9, 10, 11 bucks an hour. We're going to raise the federal minimum wage to $11 to $15 an hour. And in America, we're not going to continue the absurdity of women making 80 cents on the dollar compared to men. Equal pay for equal work. And when millions of workers want to join unions, we're going to make it easier for workers to join unions. And our administration together, we're going to change national priorities in this country, and we're going to put at the top of the list education. We are going to have quality, universal, affordable child care for every family in America. We are going to triple funding for low-income Title I schools. And because we love our children and we appreciate education, we appreciate our educators. And that means that no teacher in America should earn less than $60,000 a year. And I hope that many of you will give serious thought to becoming teachers. We need great teachers in America. And when we talk about education, we want a situation where every kid in the 5th grade or the 6th grade understands that if he or she does their schoolwork well, they will have the opportunity for a higher education regardless of the income of their families. In the year 2020, We have got to rethink what public education in America means, and to my mind, it means making public colleges and universities tuition free. And I'm happy to tell you that that movement is already taking place in states and cities and counties. When we are in the White House, it will take place in every state in this country. "11 years ago, against my vote, the U.S. Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street who nearly destroyed our economy. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large profitable corporations. Well, if the Congress of the United States could bail out crooks on Wall Street and give tax breaks to billionaires, we can cancel all student debt in America. And we do that, we pay for that through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. The American people bailed Wall Street out. It's time for Wall Street to help the working class of this country. And when we talk about an agenda that works for working people, we are going to end the international disgrace of the United States being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. The current system is dysfunctional and it is cruel. Right now in America, we are spending twice as much per person as do the people in Canada or in most European countries. We're spending $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. And yet, despite that huge expenditure, 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. 30,000 people die each and every year because they're uninsured and they don't get to a doctor on time. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs because of the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry. And some 500,000 people a year go bankrupt because of medically related debt. Meanwhile, the healthcare industry last year, the drug companies and the insurance companies, made $100 billion in profit. So today we say loudly and clearly, the function of a rational and humane healthcare system is to guarantee healthcare to all, not to make billions in profit for the drug companies and the insurance companies. And now let me, we all know that Trump has been a disaster in so many respects for our country, but let me tell you what he is doing, in fact, to the entire world. Donald Trump almost uniquely believes that climate change is a hoax. And when you believe that climate change is a hoax, what you are doing is turning your backs on our kids, our grandchildren, and future generations. Now, let me tell you a radical proposition. You ready for a radical proposition? Our administration will believe in science. And what the scientists are telling us, as all of you know, is not just that climate change is, of course, real, that it's caused by human activity, and that it is already causing terrible problems in America and around the world. What they are now telling us is they have underestimated the speed and degree to which climate change is ravaging the planet. They underestimated the degree to which the polar ice caps are melting and the oceans are warming, the degree to which drought is becoming worse and worse, more and more extreme weather disturbances, more acidification of the ocean. What the United Nations tells us, if we don't get our act together by the end of the century, there will be hundreds of millions of climate refugees, people forced to leave their own communities because they don't have clean drinking water or land to grow their crops. Anybody who doubts what climate change is about, turn on the TV and look at what's going on in Australia. Look at what went on in California in the terrible wildfires that took place there. That is the future not only of our country, but of the world, unless we get our act together. And I'm proud to tell you that our campaign has introduced the most comprehensive climate change proposal ever introduced. It is a proposal based on the blueprint of the Green New Deal. A proposal which will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuels to energy efficiency and sustainable energies. Together, we have a message to the fossil fuel industry, and that is that your short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. But as all of you know, climate change is not just an American issue, it is obviously a global issue. And my promise to you is that I will do everything I can to lead the world, to reach out to the people in China, in Russia, in India, Pakistan, Brazil, countries all over the world, and make the case that we are all in this together as a planet, and that maybe, just maybe, instead of spending $1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction, maybe we should pool our resources and fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk about an agenda that is meaningful to our country, it must mean that we end our racist and broken criminal justice system. It is not acceptable to me that we have more people in jail tonight than any other country on earth, including China. Disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American. What we are going to do is invest in our young people so they get good education and good jobs, We're going to invest in our young people, not in more jails and incarceration. Tonight in America, 400,000 people are behind bars without having been convicted of anything. They were arrested but not convicted. They are in jail because they cannot afford cash bail. We're going to end the cash bail system. We are going to end private prisons and detention centers. Corporations should not be making profits imprisoning fellow Americans. And together we are going to end the so-called war on drugs. We are going to legalize marijuana in every state in this country. And we are going to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana. And when marijuana is legal all across this country, we're not going to let a handful of corporations dominate the industry. We are going to give support to those communities, the African American community, the Latino community, the Native American community. Help them start businesses to profit off of the legalization of marijuana. And when we talk about broken systems, unjust systems, we are going to end the demonization of the undocumented in this country. On day one, we will restore the legal status of the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. Under our administration, federal agents will never snatch babies away from the arms of their mothers. And we will pass, with bipartisan support, a comprehensive immigration plan that moves people toward citizenship. And at a time when the American people are disgusted and horrified by the amount of gun violence in this country, our gun safety legislation will be determined by the American people, not the NRA. And that means there will be universal background checks. People who have violent past should not own guns. It means we do away with the gun show loophole and the straw man provision. And it means we do what a strong majority of Americans want us to do: ban the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Now, I am a United States Senator from that distant state of Vermont. And I am on the floor of the Senate often listening to speeches from my colleagues. And at a time of mass hypocrisy, one of the worst examples of that is when we have conservative Republicans come to the floor of the Senate and they say, hey, we believe in small government. We believe in getting government off the backs of the American people. Well, I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who must control their own bodies, not the government. And my promise to you all is that I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will codify, make into law Roe v. Wade. And we will greatly expand funding for Planned Parenthood. It is women who must be able to control their own bodies, not government. End of discussion. So here we are tonight in Durham, one day before the first primary in this country. And the truth is, not only is the whole country looking at New Hampshire, in fact, the entire world is looking at New Hampshire. So what you do tomorrow is of international consequence. So I am asking you tonight, to come out and vote tomorrow. I am asking you to bring your friends and your co-workers and your fellow students and your parents and anybody else you can get your hands on. And what I'm asking you to do is to begin a political revolution which does two things. Number one, it defeats the most dangerous president in modern American history. But it does something more than that. What it does is begin the movement to create an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. We are a movement and will be an administration that stands up to Wall Street and their greed, stands up to the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry, stands up to the military-industrial complex and their endless wars, stands up to the prison industrial complex, and stands up to the whole damn 1%. Now, at the end of the day, the 1% and the corporate establishment and the media establishment and the political establishment are very, very powerful. I know these guys, they have endless amounts of money and enormous power. But at the end of the day, if we do not allow Trump and his friends to divide us up by the color of our skin or our sexual orientation or where we were born, if we are prepared to stand together for economic justice, social justice, racial justice, environmental justice, if we are prepared to stand together, last that I heard, the 1% may be very powerful, but there are a hell of a lot more people in the 99% than in the 1%. So, tomorrow is an historically important day. Let us go forward. Let us have the largest voter turnout in the history of the New Hampshire primary. Let's win this thing. Let's transform America. Thank you. And now, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce, for the first time in New Hampshire, the Strokes.
Well, 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 well. Sweet old New Hampshire. What is up? People of the great Northeast. People of the American lands. These beautiful stolen American lands. Yes, moral people here tonight. Moral people unite. I think this is a beautiful thing, and I want to thank the Senator, of course, for inviting us. Yeah, all right, let's do this. Here's a new song. We got new music for you, just for fun. It's about 2016. Why will they Like a 60s concert over here. Y'all a bunch of... I'm just kidding. Oh, hey guys. Now it's like a Bon Jovi concert. What's that? What's that? Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. Oh, what a night. What a night. Legends of the Realm. Cornel West, AOC, Bernie S. The S's. Okay. We're gonna play another new song now. Just for fun. It's called The Adults Are Talking, and appropriate.
Nosferatu has won. And the only price to pay was for the earth. February 11th. Break out all the rules, I don't wanna stop pretending. It seems this game is simply never ending. Oh, in the sunshine, having fun. It's in my blood, I just can't help it. Don't want you here right now, let me go. Whoa. Oh, darling, let me go, 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 go. Thanks so much. I don't think have we ever played? I've been to Lake Winnipesaukee, I believe, years ago, but have we ever been to New Hampshire? We've never played, right? We played? We played once. Oh. Hello again. I don't remember much. So I've been super into pirates lately. As one does. Don't ask. A lot of similarities between the... I'm saying how pirates are the enemies of all mankind. Great fashion sense, but they stole and raped for money. As the people that Bernie is trying to knock out of office. But not, no disrespect to pirates though. Modern business people, way worse. All right, I'm just fucking around. I love y'all. Just here for the music. Uncontroversial music. Eyes of the world. Think I know what you mean, but watch what you say, 'cause you'll be trying to knock you down in some way. Sometimes it feels like the world is falling apart. Thinking of what's up. Your mind would wallow this feeling like following light. Your body follow this feeling like the same and let me be loud. Sad but you smile, it's not in your eyes. Your eyeballs don't change, it's the muscles around your eyes. An act of a pulse to stabilize, a body to deodorize, a life to scrutinize, a child to criticize. So sweet and assistant, you're overworked, you're overtaken by visions of being overlooked. How disappointed with BIDIPPV to see such power not as always little. Am I afraid not to instinct or do my thought just live as free and detached most of the door? Like when music was born and the search for your heart is your free time to free minds or for falling apart. Night after night, you turn out the light. Just don't fall asleep right away. Always done. A desk to organize, a product to advertise. The market to monopolize, movie stars to idolize, leaders to scandalize, enemies to neutralize. No time to fury to tranquilize, weapons to stabilize, cities to vaporize.
Oh, it got bright in here. Gonna need my sunglasses again. Just kidding. Why'd it get bright? I guess safety? Safety first. You should see my house. It's like a vampire's. It's very dark. Just one red light bulb. So what's going on? You guys still want to hear some music? Okay. Let us continue then.
One one by one, baby, here they come. He wants it easy, they want it relaxed. Said I can do a lot of things, but I can't do that. 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. All right. Want to take a walk outside? Oh no. 1969, what's that sound? Oh no. Can't you find some other guy? Oh no. Keeping down the underground. Oh no. The
So yeah, the light thing, is that because the video, maybe we're not going to do that with the.
That might be a 20-minute awkward conversation.
We had a little announcement, but whatever. Let's do it. Original YOLO before it was covered.
I
What? Oh, that's happening? I was gonna explain it. Maybe just turn it off? Yeah. Because you guys want to see a video? We were just gonna, for fun, show a video. No? We're not leaving. No? Yes? You can't... Whatever, it's right above everyone's head. It's silly. Just play it, it's fine. A little announcement at the end, little wink. Play it loud at least.
I can't escape it. Never gonna make it out of this in time. I guess that's just fine. I'm not there quite yet. My thoughts such a mess. I come in on board. What you running for? Run at the door. Anyone home? Have I lost it all? Struck me like a chord. I'm an ugly boy, holding out the knife. Lonely after life. You beg me not to go. Sinking like a stone. Use me like an oar. Get yourself to shore. Bang at the door. Anyone home? That's just what they do. Right in front of you. Like a cannonball. Slamming through your wall. In their face I saw what they're fighting for. Can't escape it. I'm never gonna make it till the end, I guess. It struck me like a chord. I'm an ugly boy, holding out the knife. Lonely after life, banging on the door. I don't wanna know. Sinking like a stone. So use me like
Oh, I think. Oh well, whatever. Listen, I guess we're gonna do one more song. I was talking about the lights. I guess it was a safety thing from the cops, which. So just as a farewell, let's play an old favorite. I thought it was on the screen. Oh yeah, album's coming out April 10th. I love y'all. Lighting department. Right to the bottom of the meaning of life. Studied all the rules and I want no part. I let you in just to break his heart. Even though it was only one night. It was fucking strange. And then I was in the bedroom. She said time to go now. And that leaves and I ain't leave. Oh, I got to let go. Oh, yes, I got to let go. And the hours, they ran slow. I sit every night, I just can't stop saying, do you let it go? Do you let it go? Do you let it go? They ain't too smart. Do you let it go? Do you let it go? All comes around the world. They ain't too smart. Let them jump. Come up on the stage, y'all. Come on, let them go. You can get up here. Well, kill me now, 'cause I let you down. Come sit on Santa's lap. I swear one day we're gonna leave this town. All right, stop. Yes, I believe it, 'cause it just won't work. They act like Romans, but they just like Turk. Soft time, feel bright. See me, I like the summertime, but hey. Linda's in the bedroom. She said time to go now. I believe that it ain't easy. I got to let go. Oh, yes, I got to let go. Oh, trapped in an apartment. She would not let them get her go. She wrote this in a letter. Oh, I got to come clean. I did all these deceit. And darling, I'm somewhere in between. I sit every night, just can't stop saying, do you say